Body Betrayed Beauty, the title of this book, owes its origin to words spoken by the next speaker, Dr. Shaykher, when he was describing the cruel fate that befell us in October 2016. A body that's afflicted with cancer is mortal, imminently more mortal than others. And that mortality becomes sufficiently mortal to be able to betray beauty, but it can never defeat the beauty. And the beauty of the heart that touched each one of us, the beauty of the soul, which inspires us every day, and the beauty of the life that Neha lived, has inspired the creation of Holding Hands Foundation. A prominent cardiologist in Miami, Dr. Shaykher, was truly the anytime doctor, anytime philosopher, and anytime guide for Neha and all of us during those challenging times. I invite Dr. Shaykher to talk more about Neha and the foundation and to conclude this beautiful session for us.
Thank you, Karthike, for your kind words, and thank you all for being with us on this special occasion. Much has been said about Neha, and a lot has been said about the book. And while I was listening to all the speakers, I was wondering that, you know, in one sense, this is a very unique book. As was pointed out by the panelists, the book wasn't written for an audience. Most authors, when they write a book, they have an audience in mind and they address the audience. This was written by somebody facing death and immortality and pangs of a disease, and just writing her own feelings and thoughts. So in that sense, it's not a typical book, yet it is more than a book. Because once you go through the book, you see the utter authenticity of the author. I have gone over the book, and the book really is not that long, and you could literally finish in a few hours, and I have never been able to do that. When I start reading it, the words are so candid. There's a candidness in those words because she truly wrote it just for herself and for her daughter. She didn't know at that time it's going to be published like a book. And the feelings behind those words are penetrating because they come right from her soul. And the wisdom and the thought behind those words is profound. And that can come only from a soul that sees life at that, because it's not just the words that any one of us can conjure up and think and have ideas. They're not ideas. This is what she experienced at that time. So in that sense, I think this is going to be a very unique book for not just Ariana, who she had in mind when she wrote it, but for any one of us who read it, because there are incredible lessons of life that we can learn. I personally, as Karthike said, had a very unique and sort of painful situation because I became her mentor, her guide, her friend, and she thought I was a doctor. She could basically sound me out on issues and would often ask me questions. What about this? What should happen? Should I do this? Should I not do that? And often would ask me, you know, what is the outcome? What's going to happen? And, you know, as a doctor, we always have hope and we always think it's going to get better. And each time we said that, you know, they would get better for her. But and in my introduction, I had the chance to write the introduction, a few paragraphs, and I have expressed that in the book. I vividly remember the day, you know, when she was really at the very, very terminal stage of her illness. And I walked into her room, and she says, what do you think? You think this is the end? And I knew it was, because nothing more could have been done. And I said, I'm afraid it is. She looked at me and just said, "It is what it is." And in those words, she gave me a profound truth that there aren't always explanations we always seek for. At the end, life is what it is. And then in her book, she goes on to explain, if life be as it is, then what really matters in life is really the love, the compassion, the oneness. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are all seeking association, company, recognition, acceptance. And as a doctor, and there are several doctors here in the audience, we cannot always, or quite often we cannot cure, but we can always comfort. And she recognized that through her illness, and it will come through in the book, that it's so important when you are going through that there's someone that can talk to you, that can comfort you, and that can hold your hands. And I think if we can keep her legacy alive, it's going to be those feelings and those expressions from a person that truly experienced all that. And in her paragraph, which was mentioned here, that's what she says also. The most important thing is that company and that support. With that, the family has, in addition to launching the book today, a foundation has been created. It's a not-for-profit 501c3 foundation, Holding Hands, because that's what she felt was most important. When you can't cure, at least hold my hands. Don't give me advice. I'm not, and this is one mistake we make. When people who are ill, they want to talk about their illness. People who aren't ill feel they have to somehow solve their issues, solve their problems. There are no solutions sometimes. They're not looking for solution. They just want to hear you out. Just hear you out patiently. They just want you to hold their hand. They want you to help them through the transition. And this organization, which has been launched, the idea is that there are so many people in a busy life now, and many doctors see it, and many family members see it, that you want to, but you cannot be all the time with the person that needs you that much. You don't have the time. People have to go for jobs. People have to work. And people, especially suffering from cancer, need a lot of care. And those are the needs of those patients. But then there are many people in the community that are themselves busy, but they could always spend an hour, a week, an hour, a month, maybe hour in any time. But how do you connect those people? And the idea is, with the Holding Hand Foundation, this is our vision. We'll start it on a pilot scale. The thought is, you know, for commercial purposes, look at now how vendors and buyers have been connected by Amazon. Look at with Uber, how drivers and passengers have been connected. Here, why can't we connect people whose hands need to be held and those who are willing to hold their hands? So idea is that as a small pilot project, maybe just in our city, in our community, we will, and I've spoken to several people who are in the software, it's quite doable. We will create a situation where we will try to connect those people, where ultimately nobody has to go and suffer alone, which is going to be the goal of this organization. Never endure hurt alone, which is acronym for NEHA, N-E-H-A. And we do hope you all will help us and support us to carry and launch this noble cause, which will be a great legacy for this great soul who lived only a short life, but indeed left a profound message for all of us. With those words, I want to thank you all for being here and supporting us. Thank you again, and good evening.